Welcome to my channel. Let me get you situated here a little bit better. There we go. I don't know if that's going to stay. Sorry about that. Okay. Welcome. I am Dory and I am in Idaho, beautiful Idaho. It's a little chilly today. Got some things done in the yard this morning. So here we are. I am going to be on a little bit of a marathon this week because, I always say I'm going to do things ahead of time, but next weekend is a show. They're doing Oktoberfest in our downtown. They called and asked if I would like to be in it, and then I was like, I don't know, I might be too busy this fall, because Bethany was trying out for some royalty, but didn't make it, so then we're not as busy. So anyway, long story short, I'm gonna be actually in two. Shoot, I didn't mean to drop that. But I look really strange. It's because I'm in my little tiny camper and everything is just mashed in. And I was watching somebody like organize their great big craft place, and I thought, I can't do that. But I need to. One of these days. I think what I'm thinking in the back of my mind is, here's what I'm thinking. If I would get rid of some of the stuff, because I would actually like get it ready to go out for sale, that would be the way to clean up. That's the way to clean up. Anyway, if you've been watching, last week Thursday I did an ink a doormat ink project at a local craft store, and we made a doormat, and I did do a video on that, so go back and look at that if you haven't seen it. But anyway, I was completely out of black ink, completely like gone. And so I ordered actually a week ahead of time, thinking all of my stuff was coming from Chalk Couture in like in a couple of days. It was coming really quick, so I thought this will be easy peasy. I should be able to get it. Well, lo and behold, yeah, no. Did not come. They didn't even ship it out until like the night before the actual event. So I was really, really low on black ink, but a lot of inks, as it turns out. And so I had placed that order. I had placed several inks I knew. So needless to say, it took a few days for it to actually get in the system after it went into the mail last Wednesday, a week and a half ago Wednesday. So it got in the system, and then it went from Salt Lake City. It went to Salt Lake City from like an outside, a smaller place outside of that, to Salt Lake City. Then I went to Texas, Austin, Texas. Then I went to New Mexico. Then I went to Colorado. This is through. Anyway, so then it went from New Mexico to Colorado, and then said it was out for delivery. Yes, I finally got it yesterday. So I'm very excited. My black ink, I actually had to go and give to my neighbor because she bailed me out and gave me all the black ink she had. So in trade, I got her a brand new one. She had two kind of like partial ones going. So I have her partial one. Anyway, so I made a flannel last week, but I didn't want to use up all of my black because I still didn't have any in and I didn't know what status. And I thought I was trying to match this. I made this Oh Hello Winter with the little cutest little snowman there, and then the snowflakes, they're kind of round. And I did it in bright white, and I'm having regrets. So we are going to spiff up this little snowman today, so that I can get this off to our craft sale next weekend. So Oktoberfest, little craft, I don't know. So we're having a booth. We're having a booth at the craft sale. And I'm going to use the smaller size ink mat. If you watch me do my flannels last week, I used the really big one, and I just decided to be simple, easy peasy. So the first thing one of the ink, all that story to tell you that I did get in some cadet ink, which I've been out of for a very long time. I don't know why I never really reordered it. I think sometimes I forget to order inks. That's the problem. So anyway, I got that in. I've got some other ones in that were Also running low. My bumblebee is very low when I was trying to do my flowers, so I ordered that. I got papaya back in, which I was also low on. I'm probably about out of papaya. In fact, we're gonna use some orange. So anyway, let's spiff this little guy up. Anyway, I was talking to my daughter, who's kind of the flannel expert. She's been making all the flannels, and this is leftover from her stuff, and I just want to get some stuff out of the house. So I thought, what better way than, because we did purchase all these from thrift stores. We try to save the flannels by buying them, and then she would bleach them. This one I bleached. I did a little bit different than she's been doing the bleaching, which is kind of fun. So go back and watch that apple one. I'll put you down here a little bit. There you go. That's a better view. So that you can see what I'm up to here. And the first thing I want to do is just take a little bit of orange of some sort here and see. I thought I got some out. Did I? Yeah, no. I know I've got the papaya, but I don't want to open up a new one. This is my old papaya. We'll see what I got. And, oh, it's not too bad, actually, but it is pretty thick. I thought it would get used up for sure. That's why I ordered some. So I might just set that to the side. We're not going to open that one just yet because, But, and then one of the other colors that I was completely out of was Dune, one of my favorite colors on shirts because it just looks better. But anyway, I talked it over with Lydia, and because she was home very briefly because she had her wisdom teeth pulled yesterday, and she thought she could drive back afterwards. She was not put under at all, but she did get 2 wisdom teeth pulled out. It's the last 2, her last hurrah before she turns 19 tomorrow. So her insurance trying to decide, well, this is not small enough, I don't think. So just trying to find here. I think maybe my good brushes my brushes all went in with my class because I had brushes there for them to use. Let's see, I'll use a different one. This one I think will work. I just want it to I'm gonna color in that nose. We're just gonna do that nose. That is all, because and I did put some water in there, so I'm gonna grab some up. So I'm just gonna, I like to get my brushes wet if you watch me for any amount of time. The reason why is it just makes them a little more pliable. And I'm just gonna color this in with my brush. And it doesn't matter if I go over those lines, because when I put this over the top, I'm gonna, when I put the transfer back over it, I'll redo the lines on the nose. The other thing I thought I would do is do a little blue on his scarf. So I'm going to go back over this with this cadet because I think this looks much better with this blue. I had a bright blue and it just was not the right color. So I think we'll just go ahead and call that good. Hopefully that won't leak all over my stuff here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to hold him upside down, so I apologize, so that you can see what I did. I just colored his nose, and then now I'm going to color his little scarf in some blue. And then the only part I'm going to go over, I'm going to leave the snowman white, and I'm going to leave all the snowflakes white. What I plan to do is go over the Oh Hello in winter in blue. And then I will go over both of these things with white. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use a little blue. I'm going to open this up. But first, I need to wipe this off. So this ink is permanent ink. And it's non-toxic, so you can totally use it. But if you let it dry for 24 hours, it's going to be pretty close to set. I do like to take my inks and heat set them with like either an iron, a piece of parchment paper over it, and either an iron or a heat press. So that I will do that as soon as we're done. This has been completely dry for like almost a week, but so we're gonna just open this brand new cadet. It's always exciting to open a new jar of anything. I got a ton of chalks too, because if you've been watching me, when I tried to do all that Christmas, the holiday launch stuff, oh my goodness, you guys, I was out of black. I had bright white, but I did not have vanilla. Oh goodness, I was out of so many colors. A lot of the greens I was pretty out of. We have got helicopter activity today. I don't know what's going on. I think the med flight came in this morning, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Try to get this into my garbage without making a mess. Because, you know, it's ink. If you get it on your shirt, it will be permanent. And blue is going to be much more powerful. So, okay. We're going to go ahead and grab some of this up. And this is brand new, so I don't have to water down anything. I did just... And I'm just going to do the inside. It doesn't matter if I'm not very careful, because I'm going to come back and do... I mean, I don't want to go outside the lines. But I'm going to come back and do the outline with the white so that you can, and that will just give this a little bit of color, I think. I'm going to take it. I think I'll dry this too a little bit before we do that. And the cool thing is when you go back over it with the white, it'll just make the outline stand out that much more. Just highlight this blue. And so it's going to look kind of, you know, like a kindergartner did this before we get it completely done. Because I'm just filling in the spots that are blank. Or in this case, I see that the flannel through. So once this is all done completely the second time here, because this is my second time working on it. I've left it for a few days. I keep looking at it going, it just doesn't seem bold enough, but I knew I didn't want to do black. I felt like black was way too much, you know, too much on it. So I didn't want to do black. Not that I had a lot of black. And I'm going to shut this up here so I don't spill it. Whenever you do the next stage, make sure you check your fingers. And we're going to get this dry, I think, first before we do laying the transfer. So thankfully we can use these transfers over and over and over. They're reusable transfers over and over and over. And I can, you know, do a whole bunch of shirts if I want. A lot of times when I start doing shirts, especially if I do it for myself, we often end up with all my daughters want it too. Or we decide to do like a girls' weekend or something. So this will partially heat set it. I tell you what, once the ink is soaking into the fabric, so don't be surprised. It will go through. That's why I have that ink mat underneath here so that not only it holds it still while I do it, but it'll also make sure it doesn't go through the fabric to something else, like on my desk or something. We don't want that to happen. Because this is so dark, we do want it to be dry before we do the next layer. I wasn't crafting this right now. So thank you so much for coming to my channel. Make sure that you say hello. Say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Are you getting ready for the fall? Have you gotten your fall decorations up yet? I finally got my husband to get them down this morning. I'm like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And now everybody's leaving because he kept saying, I need the girls to get it down. I need the girls to get it down. And I'm like, I cannot wait anymore. You have to just get me the fall. I can't do because I was afraid I had some fall things in there that I will need next week for the event. I was afraid I might have some of my, I don't know. I just don't have a ton of fall decorations. Oh, like, where did it go? So this was the same transfer we used before to make this. And then you always keep your backing. It's got a little bit yellow on the back of the backing. Don't stick it to that side. And then just take it to regular water, and you just want to lightly scrub on it front and back to get everything out of that screen. It's a reusable screen, so, and it's sticky, so once you can get it down in the right place, I'm just gonna try to get it right back down on Mr. Snowman here. And sometimes it's a little more difficult to get the same exact spot because, and I'm okay with being a little bit off on the lettering because I'm going to use that white that I had there as sort of a, you know, like it'll add a little depth to the lettering. Sometimes what happens, I feel like I'm way off here. I just want to do the little snowman first. Oh, I see. He goes this way. I had him. I'm like, what is that noise? Besides the lawnmower. Okay, he looks a little bit better there. Okay, so I've got him down in the right place, and I'm not close. Maybe not. Sometimes what happens, well, this is fabric, so this is like a silk transfer. So when you peel it off, a lot of times it will get a little extra stretch to it. So I'm just going to do the white really quick here and not do anything else but that. We're just going to get into the white ink here. My white ink had a lot around the rims. I don't know what happened to it, but had a lot of extra. And when I got this white, it was very thick. So if your ink gets too thick or, you know, gets dried out and gets really thick, feel free. So now it looks like I've gone over this and there is no orange. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of scary. I'm just going to do his scarf and the little nose, the carrot nose, because I want this to look nice and light outlined. Now, if you knew that if you had a whole section you wanted to color in really a lot more, you could just do the whole thing in a light color and then go over it in a dark color and have a nice dark outline. I like to do that with the peanuts. You can do that. Put it down in a lighter color, color everything in, and then if you don't quite get it down in the right spot with the dark color, it doesn't matter. All right. Wait, I don't know. It was like, had a lot around the edges and got shut up and then it got dried up. So, but if your ink does get a little dried up, let's see how his, see, it's just faint, I guess. Kind of wish his nose was a little darker. Let me show you how that turned out. Ooh, that is a problem. He's going to be upside down because if I start swishing around, I'm going to... So he's just got a touch of blue there in his scarf and then very little of that orange. It didn't show up very well. There was a lot of outline on that, but it's enough that you can kind of see it. So maybe it'll work. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so now, like what I was saying is I am going to show just a little bit of this Oh Hello and the winter through on the edge to give it some kind of a 3D effect. And then my, you know, all my white ink isn't so, it's not all for naught. Let's just say that. Well, I'm going to try anyway. So I want it a tad to one side, but I think this stretch. So sometimes, like I said, because this was on fabric, it definitely had some stretch to it. And I do see that I didn't even notice this until I'm coming back doing this. I didn't notice that I had missed. The other part of it could be is that when I put that, when I put the flannel down, I could have stretched the flannel on the ink too. So the flannel could have been a little bit different stretch than normal too. So it's not as easy, but I'm planning to put it a little off. So I don't know if you can see that. It looks like a little pink on there. You can kind of see it's just a little off to the side. And so what I'm going to do is grab our cadet again, and we're going to use a mini squeegee here to do this. So if you are not a member of my channel, I do have a membership, and it's not necessarily like for a whole bunch of content or anything you have to keep up on, but sometimes I like get inspired, or like this week